can see me. It doesn't show that I'm live yet. Anyway, hopefully you guys can see me. I'm sure it'll pop up on my screen soon. But happy Thursday and welcome to Lunchtime Live with Stitches and Scraps. So today I want to show you my sheet metal scarf, which I finished the pattern for really late last night. I think I posted it right around midnight, but I got it out yesterday, which was my goal. So the sheet metal scarf it's really cool yarn. Like the pattern is all about the yarn. It's from Brenda and Heather Yarns, and it's called Unicorn Light is the name of the base. And then the colorway that they sent is Cyclone. And they did send me the yarn for free to try out. And there I am. I look like I'm popped up now. So hopefully you guys saw that. We're talking about my sheet metal scarf. So the point of this scarf was that I really liked the sheen of this yarn, and I thought it looked kind of metallic in the gray colorway. So I really wanted to do something with kind of a metallic texture, kind of industrial almost. And I was thinking of, you know, that like crosshatch design you get on toolboxes and garage tools and stuff like that. I was really thinking of doing something like that. And so that's where the inspiration for the pattern came from. And this is the finished pattern. Let me take it off the mannequin and show it to you real quick. Whoops, there we go, as I knock everything off the wall. But this is the finished scarf, and you can see that the texture is there from those crossover stitches, and the gradient goes from a really dark gray to a really light gray. So this is a fun scarf. I made it 8 inches wide because I like really long scarves. And with one ball, which has 840 yards in it, it's like a ridiculous large amount. With one ball, I made 72 inches long at an 8-inch width. So that's where this one came from. And you can change up the pattern. I included the repeats. It's a really simple repeating pattern. So you can add or subtract repeats if you want a wider, shorter scarf or whatever size you want. You could even make it a shawl if you got 2 of the big balls of yarn and did you know, like doubled it. I will say it's a very fine yarn. It is a finger and weight yarn, like a sock yarn. So it did take me some time to work that up, but it's a great TV project because it's a really repetitive pattern that you memorize really quickly. So, oh, and the other thing, if you want demos on how to do the stitches that are in that pattern, the last couple of weeks, or I think like last week and 2 weeks ago, or sorry, last week and 3 weeks ago, there was one in between. I did, on my Lunchtime Live, I did demos of the stitches and techniques I used in that pattern. So that is the sheet metal scarf. And now I'm going to go on to what I'm working on now, which I've got a lot of balls in the air right now, and I don't know what's going to actually get finished first. The main thing that I've got to get done that I'm working on for next week is the new pattern for the Stash Bash. Now, our sponsor for this month is going to be Navi. Navi's Handmade is the name of his company. He's my friend Navi. He makes wonderful soaps and bath stuff, and in fact, I just bought 6 new bath bombs from him. I should have brought them to show you, but he makes the best bath stuff. So I'm not entirely sure what the giveaway package will have, but it'll be something spa related, something fun and, you know, pampering. So I'm going to have that pattern up next week, and it'll be something related to that. So we may be doing a washcloth, or I may do a basket of some sort. I haven't quite decided yet, but it'll be something spa related. And then it'll go with a giveaway from Navi. And yeah, I know it's coming out next Wednesday, and I haven't decided what I'm making yet. So we got to work on this. Okay. as far as September, I've got another Cal coming up in September that I'm participating in. It is an Operation Christmas shoeboxes, I think, or it's something with shoeboxes, but it's basically they're putting together shoebox gifts for Christmas for kids in need. And the Cal is all about making stuff that you can put in your shoebox. So that's coming up. I have a pattern for that, and if you want to see a sneak peek of it, go to my Instagram page, because I posted a picture of me trying to take a picture and my dog kind of being like, ooh, I want it. So, yeah, my dog photobombed the picture. But that is coming up next week. And then speaking of my dog, I am working on the pet stairs and eventually a dog bed for her, which I know it's been on the back burner because it hasn't had a deadline, but I promise to get that out sometime this summer. And then also, I recorded about a month ago, like 4 or 5 video tutorials, and I haven't gotten them edited and posted yet. So that's the other thing that's kind of on my plate right now. So you may see a bunch of video tutorials coming up pretty soon. And I'm just checking into the comments to see if anybody's said anything yet. Hello, say hi if you see me. I don't see myself on YouTube yet, though. I really hope it's there. I've been having trouble broadcasting to YouTube. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's see. I see 2 people watching. Hi, Beth. Oh, thanks. You like my scarf. Okay, thank you. And you should try it because it's like super calming. I don't even know how to put it. It's like, this is what I picked up when I didn't want to have to think, you know, because it's just repeated pattern and I could just, it's mindless. It's very soothing crochet. So that's the scarf. And then I think that's all the news I have for you. The only other thing I've got is I'm going to show you, now don't leave me. I don't want to lose you guys over this, okay? I am going to teach my crochet buddies out there who don't know how to knit yet, I'm going to teach you how to knit. Because I want you to see how easy it is to be bi-stitchual. So I'm going to focus a couple of tutorials or a couple of demos in my live videos for the next few weeks on knitting techniques for crocheters. So let's start with a cast on, and I'm going to switch over now. And all you need for this is a crochet hook and a knitting needle. So, and honestly, you can practice this on a pencil. You don't even need a knitting needle. You can practice it on a stick, on a pencil, whatever you want to practice it on. And then once you get this, you can start knitting. So let me switch over and I'm going to show you how to do a crocheted cast on. That's zoomed in a little too much. Let's go out a little bit. Oop, there we go. Okay. So it starts with a crochet hook, right? So tension your yarn however you normally do and make yourself a slip knot. And yes, you do need a slip knot for this. I know I've told you guys that I don't like slip knots to start my work. This is an exception. Otherwise it's way too fiddly. Make a slip knot and put it on your hook. So the idea of a crochet cast on, you know when you make chains, how they have the top and bottom loop and then on the back they have that back bump? Well, the idea of a crochet cast on is as if you were putting your knitting needle into all of those back bumps. So if I was to make a really loose chain, and my tension's going to be so screwy on this, but if I was to make a really loose chain and bring my knitting needle in and just sort of stick it into each of these back bumps, I'm going the same direction every time. There we go, and then stick it into the loop that's on my crochet hook. That is the idea of a crocheted cast on. Now, obviously, that way that I just did it is really fiddly, and there's no way you're going to get tension even. So let's try it the right way. Well, I won't say the right way. There's actually a few right ways to do it, but the way that I find easiest, and I think is easiest for crocheters, is going to be start out holding your, caught in my glove. Okay, start out holding all of this, your tail, your needle, and your hook, all in your right hand. Make sure your needle and your hook are kind of parallel, okay? And then tension your yarn however you normally would. So what we're going to do is with every stitch, we are going to wrap the yarn around the needle before making our chain. Okay? So a couple different ways to do it. I have seen some people go between the two, and then they come over here and scoop up the yarn from the bottom and pull it through. But the one that I think is easiest is if you wrap it over both. Okay? So you take the yarn and you wrap it over both. Now watch what I'm doing with my hand here. I'm switching my grip and grabbing the needle to hold it in place. The needle and the tail. Okay? These two are going to switch which hand is controlling them back and forth as I go through the cast on. So you may want to practice just this motion first, even just switching your grip. Okay? But so now I've wrapped the yarn around. And the first one's the fiddliest always with these things. So I'm going to take this loop now, it's already right there on my hook, and just pull it through and make that chain. Okay? Now I'm switching this back to this hand. I'm going to wrap the yarn, okay? Come back and grab this to hold it in place and pull the yarn through. All right, now that's kind of tight because I'm doing it slow. My next ones are going to be a little looser. But basically, you wrap the yarn and you pull it through. And the key to a smooth motion here is getting this transfer of the needle from one hand to another into kind of a rhythm. And once you've got a few, you can let go of the tail. Holding onto the tail was just to keep that slip knot steady. Okay. Now you don't want to get too close to the point because then the stitches could slip off. So scoot it up and just keep wrapping and pulling through. So I'm going to show that to you really slow one more time. Wrap over both the needle and the hook and pull through. So you start with the yarn behind your needle, you bring it up over the top and you pull through. The other way that some people have found easier is to hold it like that, put the yarn just over the needle, and then come and scoop it up with your hook like that. That's fine, but I feel like that twists the stitch at the bottom a little bit, and I don't like it as much. It gives you a little bit different look at the bottom. I prefer this way. And you can see I've already cast on probably about 20 stitches. Now, one thing you want to be very careful of, this is a crochet chain. So if this chain comes out, if you drop this loop and you pull, the whole thing will unravel. Okay? So you generally don't want to do that. There is a use for that. It's called a provisional cast on, which is a more complicated thing. It's like if you want to start knitting in one direction and then pick up and knit later from the bottom, or if you want live stitches on the bottom. Think about like if you crochet something and then you come back and crochet into the foundation. It's kind of like that. But that's not what we want here. We want a nice secure cast on. So after we have cast on, I'm just going to do like 5 stitches here. After you cast on however many you need -1, okay? Then you take this loop that's on your crochet hook, bring the point of your needle down, and just put that loop right onto your needle, okay? That's going to secure your cast on. You've got this nice chained edge, and here I have 6 stitches on my needle. So that's how you do. Yes, 6, I can count. Okay, so that's how you do a crocheted cast on. It's a nice stretchy finish. I like it. It's not the most common cast on that people learn when they learn how to knit, but for crocheters, I think it's easier because you're already used to that motion of chaining, and it's very similar to that. If you want to see a more commonly taught cast on, go to my blog and check for the knitted cast on, which is what I teach in my Learn to Knit classes normally. Now, I'm going to come back to you up here and talk to you a little bit about learning to knit for crocheters. I have heard in conversations about teaching, a lot of people will say, oh, if you're going to teach crocheters how to knit, you absolutely have to teach them to knit continental. Continental means that you are tensioning your yarn. If you're right-handed, you're tensioning your yarn in your left hand. And the reason people say that is they want you to tension the yarn in the same hand that you're used to when you're crocheting. But knitting is not crocheting. And you do have two needles that you have to control. And when I was first learning, now I know how to knit continental and English, which is the other style. And when I was first learning, I learned English and it was much easier for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you things in both English and continental as much as I can. Now the cast on is the cast on and you're tensioning it in your left hand regardless of whether you're English or continental knitting. You know, I haven't actually tried it. Let me see if you can do this with it in the other hand. You might be able to. So English knitting, you tension your yarn here, and I always have to do an extra wrap, which is lazy, and I shouldn't do it, but you know, that's the way it is. With English knitting, you tension your yarn here, and you can do it. Oh wow, okay, and you wrap the yarn over and pull it through. So yeah, you could do it English style also if you wanted. So this is English style now. Let's try that again. I'm holding the needle in one hand and the hook in the other, wrap the yarn around, pull it through. Oh, this is more fiddly, guys. I would do it the other way. If you're holding your yarn here, this is English style, and you wrap it around. If you're holding your yarn here, this is continental style, and for most stitches, you end up scooping the yarn up with your needle instead of wrapping it around. So I will be showing you both styles because I never think it's bad to learn things multiple ways. The more ways you see how to do it, the better you're going to learn it because one way will work for you and one way may not. So that's all I have. Any comments, any questions before I sign off? I'm just taking a quick look at the comment sections here. All right, I think that's everything. So I will see you guys next week. Have a good weekend, and thanks for watching. Bye.